As we move past the age of 50, life begins to slow down in subtle yet undeniable ways. The body no longer moves as quickly as it once did, and the rhythms of our daily life shift to a quieter, more contemplative pace. In the rush of earlier years, careers, families, responsibilities, we often overlook the gentle whispers of the soul. But now, with the slowing of the body comes a rare opportunity, the chance to truly listen. This is not a decline, but a profound awakening. As the body softens, the soul speaks, clearer, deeper, and more authentically than ever before. In Buddhist wisdom, aging is not something to resist but a gateway to deeper understanding. The Buddha taught that impermanence is the very nature of life. As we accept the changes in our physical form, we step closer to inner peace and spiritual growth. This is the stage of life when mindfulness becomes not just a practice but a way of being. We begin to understand that happiness is not found in doing more, but in being present with what is. In this video, we will explore how the natural slowing of the body after 50 opens the door to spiritual insight. We will reflect on 5 key Buddhist perspectives that offer comfort, wisdom, and guidance during this phase of life. These are not just teachings to study but truths to live by, gently, mindfully, and with compassion for ourselves. Whether you are already on the path or just beginning to seek emotional clarity, this is your time to rediscover who you truly are. Join us on this journey toward non-attachment, inner peace, and the joy of simply being. Let us begin with the first insight on our journey, the wisdom hidden in fatigue, when tiredness is not just physical. As we walk further into life, many of us begin to notice the body no longer carries us with the same energy as it once did. There is a slowing down, a heaviness that visits more often than before. And yet, in Buddhist teaching, this very tiredness is not seen as a weakness or a flaw, but as a sacred message, an invitation to deeper awareness. Fatigue, when observed with mindfulness, becomes a mirror. It reflects our years of striving, doing, and accumulating. It reflects the patterns of a life lived in movement. But now, the movement softens. The breath deepens. And the body whispers, "You may rest now." There is wisdom here. A traditional Zen story beautifully illustrates this. In a remote village, an old Zen master named Koji spent his days in silence. One afternoon, a young monk from a distant monastery arrived, eager to learn the secret of enlightenment. "I've meditated long hours, studied many sutras, served countless masters," the young monk said, "yet I feel no closer to awakening. What am I missing?" The old master looked at him with kind eyes and said, "Come, follow me." They walked quietly into the forest, where Koji gathered dry leaves and built a small fire. After a few minutes, the master sat beside the fire and simply closed his eyes. The young monk waited. Minutes passed, then an hour, then 2. The monk grew restless. Finally, he spoke, "Master, what are we doing? Are you going to teach me or not?" The master opened his eyes slowly and said, "This is the teaching. In your effort, you missed the stillness. In your striving, you could not hear the forest speak. When the fire burns low and the body rests, the soul speaks clearly." The young monk, at first confused, slowly began to understand. The truth was not hidden in effort, but in the silent space fatigue naturally brings. In this Zen story lies the heart of Buddhist wisdom on tiredness. The Buddha himself taught that mindfulness is not confined to temples or retreats, it can be found in every moment, even in the aches of aging limbs and weary muscles. When we meet our fatigue with judgment, thinking, "should be stronger, should do more," we create suffering. But when we meet it with curiosity and kindness, the tiredness transforms. It becomes the breath that grounds us. It becomes the silence that speaks volumes. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha reminds us, health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, faithfulness the best relationship. This does not praise endless doing, it honors simplicity. It points to the deep joy found in stillness and the acceptance of what is. The tired body is not failing, it is fulfilling its purpose, to guide us inward, toward peace of mind. When we listen to this wisdom, we discover that aging is not a loss but a sacred unfolding. Each wave of exhaustion is a gentle bow from the body to the spirit, saying, "You have done enough. Now simply be." In this way, fatigue becomes not just a physical condition, but a profound spiritual practice. It teaches us to let go of the endless cycle of doing and to rediscover the sacredness of simply being. It teaches us that inner peace does not come after achievement, but in the quiet that follows when we stop grasping. So the next time your body feels tired, remember. You are being invited into presence. Into truth. Into the very heart of Buddhist wisdom. Let us now move into the second reflection, letting go of the doer and meeting the being within. As we enter the second half of life, a gentle but profound shift begins to stir within us. We start to realize that we are no longer driven by the same impulses that shaped our youth. The relentless striving, the need to accomplish, to prove, to wear many titles, these begin to lose their pull. In the eyes of the world, we may slow down, but in the eyes of the Dharma, we are deepening. One of the greatest insights in Buddhism is that our true nature is not defined by what we do, but by who we are when the doing stops. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from clinging, especially to identity. We hold tightly to the roles we've played, the worker, the parent, the planner, the problem solver. Yet now, in this quieter phase of life, we are offered a beautiful opportunity to loosen our grip and return to being. This does not mean passivity or emptiness. Rather, it is presence. It is meeting the moment without expectation, without needing to shape it through effort. The practice of non-attachment gently guides us to let go of the mental stories we've repeated for decades. I am what I achieve, I must be productive to matter, I am only useful if I am needed. These beliefs have been like garments we wore to survive in the world. But now, we are invited to take them off, to feel the simplicity of our bare presence. When the Buddha said, "Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life," he was pointing to the flame that lives within us, even when all the doing stops. That flame is awareness. It is the quiet knowing that we are alive, awake, and interconnected with all things. This stage of life, with its slower pace and fewer demands, is not a decline but a sacred space for awakening. Meditation becomes more than a technique, it becomes a returning. Each breath becomes a sacred bell that calls us back from the noisy stage of life into the still sanctuary of the heart. And in that stillness, we find that we are not our accomplishments, nor our mistakes, nor our busyness. We are that which observes, all of it, with kindness and wisdom. This realization brings peace of mind, not because life is perfect, but because we are no longer trying to perfect it. We are simply resting in what is. The joy of being replaces the burden of doing. We discover that our presence is healing, our silence is nourishing, and our worth is not in question. Letting go of the doer is not a loss, it is a return to truth. It is meeting ourselves without the mask of obligation. It is recognizing that even as the body changes, even as the world forgets our titles, the being within remains whole, sacred, and deeply enough. This is the grace of aging. This is the path to spiritual growth and true inner peace. Let us now enter the third reflection. The quiet return of forgotten feeling. As the body naturally slows with age, something profound begins to stir within us. Emotions that were once buried under layers of responsibility, productivity, and noise begin to rise again, quietly, gently, like petals opening in the warmth of spring after a long winter. This is not regression, nor is it a weakness of age, it is a sacred return. The Buddha taught that all things which arise will also pass away, and within that truth is the permission to feel deeply, without fear or clinging. In our youth, we were often too busy to sit with our hearts. The demands of family, work, and daily survival pushed certain feelings aside, grief was delayed, joy was postponed, and wounds were left unattended. But now, with more silence and space in our days, these long-forgotten emotions return. They don't come to disturb us, they come to be seen, to be honored. Listen to the real-life story of Mary, a retired nurse in her late 60s from Oregon. After decades of caregiving, raising children, supporting her husband through illness, and working long hospital shifts, Mary found herself alone in her home, the silence at first feeling empty. But slowly, it became a mirror. She began practicing mindfulness meditation at a local Buddhist center, and in that quiet practice, feelings she hadn't felt since her 20s began to rise: grief for her mother, who had passed when she was young and never properly mourned, joy from old memories of singing in the kitchen with her sister, sorrow for words unspoken in her marriage. At first, it overwhelmed her. But guided by her teacher's gentle advice, "Let the heart speak without interruption," she began to sit with these emotions, to let them breathe. She found herself crying not from pain, but from the release, from the sheer beauty of remembering herself. And through this, a deeper peace emerged. This is the quiet return of forgotten feeling. Buddhist meditation does not push these feelings away. It opens a space for them. It invites us to sit, breathe, and allow the river of experience to flow naturally. As emotions rise, be they joy, regret, longing, or peace, we learn to witness them with compassion. They are not enemies, they are old friends returning after a long silence. They carry messages, not threats. They tell us what we valued, what we lost, what we still carry, and what we're finally ready to lay down. The Buddha's path is not about emotional avoidance, it is about clear seeing. When we honor the feelings that resurface, we cultivate loving kindness, not just for others, but for ourselves. We forgive what we didn't know. We see that every wound once held a lesson. We offer our past selves the understanding we lacked back then. This stage of life, when there is more stillness and more space, is a fertile ground for spiritual healing. The emotional clarity that arises is not dramatic or loud, it is tender, like a soft breeze over still water. We do not chase happiness, but peace arises on its own. To feel again is to awaken the soul's voice, the quiet inner knowing that reminds us of who we truly are beneath the doing and striving. In this space, we rediscover our innate kindness, our depth, and the beauty of simply being. The return of feeling is not a weakness of aging, it is a blessing. It is life's way of offering us one more chance to love, to release, and to be whole again. Let us now move gently into the fourth insight: listening to the body is spiritual practice. In Buddhism, the body is not seen as separate from the path to awakening, rather, it is a vital companion, a living temple through which our awareness flows, learns, and transforms. As we age, the body's whispers become more frequent: aches, fatigue, new sensitivities, and these are not just signs of decline, but sacred invitations to listen deeply. The Buddha taught that mindfulness of the body is one of the four foundations of awareness, urging his disciples to contemplate the body in the body, not with resistance, but with reverence. To truly listen to the body is to begin a spiritual dialogue, one that doesn't require words, only presence. Each sensation, the breath rising and falling, the stiffness in joints, the slowing of energy, is a call to wake up. This is not passive noticing, but devotional attention. We learn, slowly and gently, to recognize what our body needs, not out of fear or frustration, but out of loving understanding. The body tells us when to pause, when to nourish, when to walk barefoot on the grass or rest in silence. This listening becomes a form of meditation in motion. Through it, we begin to distinguish between pain that needs healing and discomfort that invites us into patience and acceptance. With age, this sacred listening becomes even more essential because the body begins to shift in undeniable ways. Mobility changes, energy levels rise and fall unpredictably, and sleep may become lighter or fragmented. Instead of judging these changes, the Buddhist path encourages us to observe them with curiosity and compassion. These physical shifts are not betrayals, they are teachings. They show us the truth of impermanence, that nothing, not even this vessel we inhabit, remains fixed. And far from being a source of sadness, this realization brings a gentle liberation. We begin to let go of the struggle against time and instead rest in the flow of life as it is. Mindfulness practices like walking meditation, mindful stretching, and body scans are especially meaningful in this phase of life. They invite us back into the body, not with the goal of mastering it, but of honoring it. When we walk with awareness, we feel the ground beneath us and the wind on our skin. We become rooted in the now. When we sit in silence and scan our body with attention, we notice subtle tensions, gentle warmth, the rhythm of the heart, and the breath like an ocean tide, always there, always returning. In this way, the body becomes our teacher. We are no longer trying to control it or force it to keep up with our ambitions, we are walking beside it, listening to its sacred wisdom. The practice of caring for the body, through rest, through gentle movement, through mindful breathing, becomes an act of caring for the spirit. For the body, in its slowness, stillness, and even in its fragility, speaks the language of presence. And presence is where peace is born. So in listening to the body, we are not giving in to aging, we are waking up to life. We are embracing a practice that leads us not away from ourselves, but directly into the heart of awareness, where dignity, tenderness, and deep peace reside. Now, we come to the fifth and final truth. Buddhist meditation for contemplation of not self, not losing your identity, recognizing what you truly are. Among the most profound and liberating teachings of the Buddha is the concept of anatta, or not self. This principle may seem abstract at first, especially in a world that constantly pushes us to define ourselves, by our achievements, our relationships, our appearances. But as we grow older, this truth gently begins to unveil itself not just as a concept, but as a lived reality. The roles we once clung to, parent, worker, leader, caregiver, begin to loosen. Our physical form changes, our ambitions soften, and the solid sense of me that once felt permanent starts to dissolve. This dissolution can be disorienting, even frightening, if misunderstood. Yet within the wisdom of Buddhism lies a deep reassurance: we are not the body, not the thoughts, not the memories, not even the emotions. We are the awareness that sees it all, the silent presence behind the story. And it is through meditation that this truth becomes not just known, but felt, embodied, and trusted. Meditation for contemplation of not self does not require anything complicated. It begins with sitting still, finding a comfortable posture, and becoming aware of the breath as it enters and leaves the body. We don't try to control the breath or the mind. We observe. As thoughts arise, memories, plans, judgments, we gently label them, thinking, feeling, remembering, and return to the breath. With time, we begin to see that each of these thoughts and feelings is fleeting. None of them define us. We notice sensations in the body, tingling, warmth, tension, and see that they too arise and pass. When emotions surface, sadness, joy, anxiety, we meet them with kindness and watch them move like waves across the surface of the ocean. We are not the wave, we are the ocean. And as we sit in this quiet presence, a new spaciousness opens. It is not empty, it is full of peace, compassion, and freedom. We begin to understand that our suffering came not from change, but from clinging. From the desperate effort to hold on to what was never meant to stay. The Buddha said, "All conditioned things are impermanent." When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. And here, in meditation, we see it clearly. Our identity is not fixed, not frozen in time. It is fluid, like a river. When we let go of the need to be someone specific, we make space for a deeper, quieter truth to arise, that we are awareness itself, unbound by age, labels, or status. This is not about becoming nothing. It is about seeing what we have always been but often overlooked: presence, openness, a quiet love that does not depend on being anyone. As the ego softens, compassion blooms. We stop striving to be seen or praised and start seeing clearly, not just ourselves, but others too. Their suffering, their fears, their joy, become more visible. We begin to walk through the world with gentler steps. We speak less to be heard, and more to connect. We live less to impress, and more to serve. And all of this comes, not from effort, but from the spaciousness born in meditation. This practice need not be long or perfect. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day can begin to shift our perspective. We can meditate sitting in a chair, lying down, or walking slowly in a quiet place. What matters is the quality of awareness, not the posture. We come home to the present moment, again and again, until we begin to feel that we are not arriving anywhere new, we are simply uncovering what has always been here. This is the heart of anatta. You are not your story, not your success or failure, not even your age. You are the awareness that holds it all. And in realizing this, there is no loss, only liberation. We find a joy deeper than happiness, a peace stronger than certainty, and a love that asks for nothing in return. This is the gift of aging through the lens of Buddhist meditation, not a decline, but a return. Not a fading, but a revealing. And as we end this final contemplation, may we carry this truth in our hearts: we do not lose ourselves, we finally meet what we truly are. As we come to the end of this heartfelt reflection, let us take a gentle pause and acknowledge the journey we've shared, a journey inward, a return to presence, a soft awakening to the deeper meaning of life as we age. When the body begins to slow down, the soul, long silenced by noise, urgency, and distraction, finally finds space to speak. And in that still, sacred space, the timeless truths of the Buddha gently arise. These are not abstract teachings or distant ideals, they are lived truths, invitations to slow down, to observe, and to live with intention. In this video, we explored 5 transformative insights drawn from traditional Buddhist wisdom. The hidden grace within fatigue, the peaceful surrender of the doer, the return of feeling and quiet intuition, the spiritual depth of listening to the body, and the liberating contemplation of not-self. Each of these teachings is like a stepping stone across the river of aging, offering us not escape, but arrival, into our truest, most present selves. Growing older is not a process of diminishing, but of unfolding. It is the season of ripening, of moving from the external to the internal, from noise to silence, from striving to simply being. The Buddha never taught that aging was to be feared, instead, he taught us to meet it with mindfulness, curiosity, and compassion. Now is the perfect moment to return to your breath, to rest in the quiet awareness that has always been there, patiently waiting beneath the surface of thought. Now is the time to let go of the endless pursuit of doing and allow yourself to simply be. This path, while deeply personal, is never walked alone. The teachings of the Buddha are your lantern. Your life, your joys, your losses, your changes, is the sacred path beneath your feet. Together, they guide you to a place of peace, clarity, and freedom beyond identity, beyond fear, beyond regret. If today's reflection has stirred something in your heart, if it has reminded you of who you truly are beneath the changing roles and passing years, we lovingly invite you to continue walking this path with us. Subscribe to Mindful Pathway Media for more calm, meaningful content rooted in traditional Buddhist teachings. We invite you to like this video and share it with someone you care about, someone who might also be seeking a softer way to grow old, to let go, to live in peace. But more than that, we would be deeply honored to hear your story. What part of this reflection resonated with you the most? Have you had moments in your own life when the body slowed down and the soul finally began to speak? What insights have you gathered through the quiet, through the pain, through the grace of aging? Your words, your experience, and your wisdom can bring light to others who are walking a similar path. Please take a moment to comment below. Share your reflections, your struggles, your awakenings. This is not just a channel, this is a community of hearts growing wiser together. Let this be a space of compassion, not comparison, a space where your truth is welcome, just as it is. And remember, the peace you seek is not in the past or the future. It is here, now, in this breath, in this body, in this very moment. The path of mindfulness is not about effort, it is about awareness. It is about walking gently, loving deeply, and letting go softly. As you move forward in your life, may these teachings walk with you, not as rules, but as reminders of your own inner wisdom. May you continue to listen to your body as a sacred temple. May you release the need to be someone and rest in the joy of being no one. May you discover the presence that has always been with you, the quiet, spacious, eternal you. From all of us at Mindful Pathway Media, thank you for sharing this time with us. May your journey be blessed with clarity, may your heart remain open, and may your days unfold with kindness. And finally, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, and may you be free.